Adam Schiff coming out on camera numerous times saying, I can't tell you what I've seen, but I've seen things. There's a lot more than circumstantial evidence about this collusion.
But there is more than circumstantial evidence. There is circumstantial evidence of collusion.
The Russians offered help, which we know they did. The campaign accepted help, which we know they did.
And you got Hillary Clinton saying, you know, an air of illegitimacy around Trump's victory because of this. I mean, she was very clear about it.
Last March, you said you had more than circumstantial evidence of treasonous collusion with Russia.
Certainly said that there's ample evidence of collusion. I think there's plenty of evidence of collusion or conspiracy.
The noose is tightening on Trump. It's all going to come out. He's an agent of...
You know, there's a certain kind of politician who thrives not on truth, not on results, but on creating headlines. Someone who sees every TV camera as a spotlight and every rumor as an opportunity. And if we're talking about that type of politician, Adam Schiff is basically the poster child. Think back for a second to the whole Russian collusion saga. Remember those endless news cycles where we were told, day after day, headline after headline, that Donald Trump was basically a secret agent working for Vladimir Putin? Oh, they were so confident. They told us the walls are closing in so many times you'd think Trump was living inside a medieval castle. And who was at the center of it all? Schiff. The man practically lived on cable news, popping up like a broken record. He kept saying, I can't tell you what I've seen, but I've seen things. More than circumstantial evidence. Oh, really, Adam? More than circumstantial? That's the kind of vague nonsense you'd expect from a psychic at a carnival, not the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. He was always dangling that carrot just out of reach, making it sound like some explosive evidence was about to drop. Spoiler alert, it never did. But here's the thing, he knew there was no hard evidence. He knew he had nothing that would hold up under real scrutiny, and yet he said it anyway, over and over again, on every news outlet that would book him. That's not leadership, that's performance. That's selling a lie because you know it'll keep the cameras rolling.
The group would leak classified information which was derogatory to the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Schiff stated the information would be used to indict President Trump. The whistleblower stated this would be illegal, and upon hearing his concerns, unnamed members of the meeting reassured that they would not be caught leaking classified.
And let's not forget, this wasn't just about taking down Trump. Schiff's rise to political stardom depended on this hoax. Before all this, most Americans couldn't have picked Adam Schiff out of a lineup. He was just another forgettable congressman from California. But when Hillary Clinton and the Democratic establishment started pushing the collusion narrative, Schiff saw his chance. He jumped headfirst into the spotlight and made himself the face of the resistance. Suddenly he was everywhere. CNN couldn't get enough of him. MSNBC practically gave him his own dressing room. They put him on prime time like he was some fearless guardian of democracy. For a while, it worked. His name blew up, his profile soared, and he started to look like one of the big power players in Washington. But then, reality hit. The Mueller report came, congressional investigations came, and guess what? No collusion, no smoking gun, nothing but hot air. Schiff's whole act crumbled, and he was left standing there like the boy who cried wolf.
Called him a Russian asset.
Listen, Adam Schiff, he was the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. Adam Schiff knew. He never saw any evidence that Trump was in collusion with the Russians, or that the Russians were interfering in American elections, or that there may have been evidence of that, but there was no evidence that Russia and Trump were in collusion. And he kept saying it. He kept saying it on every news outlet he could. And he knew otherwise. And no one's held him to task for it.
And you know what makes this worse? He wasn't just wrong, he was reckless. Because while he was out there spinning this fantasy, half the country started believing that their president was an illegitimate Russian puppet. Hillary Clinton even played into it, saying Trump's victory carried an air of illegitimacy. That wasn't just some passing comment, that was a direct attempt to undermine confidence in American elections, all based on a story that never held water. And who do we have to thank for feeding that hysteria non-stop? Adam Schiff. But the real kicker is how shameless he is. Because you'd think after being caught pushing something that turned out to be a complete fabrication, maybe you'd back down. Maybe you'd show some humility. Not Schiff. He doubled down. He strutted around like nothing happened. When Congress censured him, a serious, rare reprimand for misleading the American people, he didn't take it as a mark of shame. No, he wore it like a badge of honor, like it proved how brave he was. That's not bravery, that's arrogance.
Have you ever seen that video?
No.
Pull that video up, because it's one of my favorites.
That Mueller and congressional investigations also revealed that Don Jr. was informed that a Russian official was offering the Trump campaign, quote, very high level and sensitive information, unquote, that would would be incriminating if Hillary Clinton was part of, quote, Russia and its government support of Mr. Trump? You aware of that?
Sure. People get phone calls all the time from individuals who claim to have information like that.
Really, the son of a presidential candidate gets calls all the time from before in government offering dirt on their opponent? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think this is unique.
And let's talk about the media for a second. When Schiff was selling the hoax, they couldn't get enough of him. Wall-to-wall coverage, endless panels. Every claim was treated like gospel. But when it all fell apart, crickets. Suddenly, nobody wanted to revisit those clips of Schiff promising direct evidence. Nobody wanted to correct the record. They just quietly moved on, pretending they hadn't been complicit in pushing the lie. That silence speaks volumes. Now, here's where it gets even wilder. Whistleblowers eventually came forward. Democrat staffers, mind you, saying Schiff himself had been greenlighting leaks of classified information to smear Trump. That's not just dishonest. That's unethical, illegal, and flat out treasonous. And yet, Schiff still walks around Washington as if accountability doesn't apply to him.
Jamie, pull that video up.
As for this new FBI whistleblower report, I understand Kash Patel last night declassified a 302 FBI document showing that a whistleblower who is a Democrat, a career intelligence officer who worked for Democrats on the House Intel Committee for more than a decade, repeatedly warned the FBI in 2017 that then Rep. Adam Schiff had approved leaking classified information to smear then President Donald Trump over the Russiagate scandal. This is obviously a bombshell whistleblower report. Hopefully more people in this room will cover it.
At one point, Pam Bondi went toe-to-toe with him and called him out directly, reminding him that Congress had already censured him for lying. Most politicians would have been humiliated, maybe even forced into retirement. But Schiff? He just kept on smiling, kept on lying, and kept on pretending he was some moral crusader.
Holy shit.
Will it be your advice to the president? No, Mr. President, I need to go over them on a case-by-case basis. Do not issue blanket pardons. Will that be your advice to the president?
Senator, I have not looked at any of those files. If confirmed, I will look at the files.
And will you be able to review hundreds of cases on day one?
I will look at every file I am asked to look at.
Of course you won't. So will you advise the president?
Can I answer the question?
Well, my question
I would have plenty of staff. You said, of course you want?
You'll be able to review
I'm not going to mislead this body, nor you.
All right, let me ask another question. You don't want to answer that. Let me ask
you
another
were
question.
censured by Congress, Senator, for comments.
And this is the part that really gets me, because while Schiff was out there hyping fake witnesses, teasing non-existent evidence, and putting on this elaborate show, Americans were being misled on a massive scale. People really thought Trump was going to be indicted. They thought the evidence was airtight because Schiff told them it was. Families were divided, friendships ended, the country was torn apart by a hoax, and Schiff was one of the main architects of it. So let me ask you, when someone does that much damage to the country, should they just get to walk away without consequences? Should they just keep their seat in Congress and pretend nothing happened? Because here's the ugly truth, when politicians lie this big and get away with it, it sets a precedent. It tells every other politician, go ahead, push whatever narrative you want. As long as it gets you attention, there's no downside. That's dangerous. That's how trust in government dies.
A staff member began talking to the FBI in 2017 because he said he considered the leaks to be, quote, unethical, illegal, and treasonous. This is a Democrat staffer who is saying to the FBI he had a holy shit moment when he heard Adam Schiff give the order. These documents that outline the FBI's interview, like the FBI doesn't tape its interviews. They go back and they report what they heard in their interview.
And Schiff knows it. That's why when whispers started going around that the DOJ might finally come after him, you could practically see the panic in his eyes. The man who once looked so confident, so untouchable, suddenly seemed nervous. For a brief moment, it looked like he might actually have to face the consequences of his actions. But then, bam! Joe Biden swoops in with a last-minute pardon before leaving office. Just like that, Schiff was off the hook.
He's going to weaponize the DOJ to use it against his opponents. I believe that's what was done to him. Though, as we discussed with Alan Dershowitz in that now famous clip that went around where I said we need Steve Bannon, I'm not totally opposed to it. I'm going to be honest. Who would cry a tear if Adam Schiff actually got some sort of hassle thrown his way by the DOJ.
Sure, the pardon might have kept him out of legal trouble, but it didn't save his reputation. His name is forever tied to lies, scandal, and betrayal. He's not a hero. He's not a truth teller. He's a fraud who built his entire career on smoke and mirrors. And the cherry on top, this man who supposedly carried the weight of democracy on his shoulders was literally caught nodding off during hearings, falling asleep. Think about that. In a moment when he was supposed to prove his credibility, to show the country that he was serious and trustworthy, he couldn't even stay awake. That doesn't scream leadership. That screams incompetence.
Shock the world right now and defend Adam Schiff. In response to the heat he's getting for the following clip.
It is an existential threat, Senator, and also
asleep.
I have not seen it yet, but from what I've heard about former FBI Director Ray,
Someone in the audience behind
comments on 60
Pam
Minutes regarding China
is videotaping Adam Schiff asleep.
In our own country, infiltrating our water systems, our natural gas lines.
I defend Adam Schiff because these confirmation hearings are boring.
But on TV, on TV he was sharp, articulate, stoic, the polished image of a man on a mission. The contrast is laughable. Schiff wasn't leading, he was acting, playing a part, and now the mask has slipped. So here we are. Adam Schiff's story isn't one of courage or integrity or defending democracy. It's a story of desperation, a story of deception, a story of hollow ambition. He chased fame, he got it, and now he's stuck with the fallout. And the lesson in all this? The truth always wins in the end. Lies can dominate the headlines for a while, but eventually they collapse under their own weight. Schiff thought he could ride the collusion hoax all the way to the top, but instead it exposed him as exactly what he is, a fraud. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Schiff should have faced actual consequences for his role in pushing the Russia hoax? Or do you think the political humiliation is enough? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I really want to know what you think about this. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, make sure you're subscribed, and share this with your friends. Let's keep exposing the frauds, the phonies, and the people who think they can pull the wool over America's eyes. Because the only way we win is if we keep shining a light on the truth.